Alright, here we go. Little tutorial video. So, I think I'll start off by just saying that, explaining what I'm doing here. So this is, well, it's pretty dull, camshafts. These tiny little springs that you can see down here, those are the valves. So each cylinder has 4 valves. So you see 1, 2 for that one, 1, 2 for that one. So you have cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Each of these are where the spark plug go, and you don't want to drop anything in there, because if you do, it's total. And that would be a very, very bad day. So currently, because this is a ultra high performance engine, you basically have, there's hydraulic lifters in most cars, and there's solid lifters, which this thing has. And this thing revs extremely high, so this thing has solid lifters. But the caveat to that is you have to, every once in a while, adjust the tolerances inside, in between these cam lobes and the actual valve themselves. So that's what these little guys are for. You can see that. A bunch of little shims, and I'll show you pulling them out. So I ran out of the ones I needed. Unfortunately, I got some, and this is currently the one we're working on. So this is the intake manifold. So if you look here, you have the air pump, or the air intake coming in from here. And this is the manifold. So this is where all the water or air is currently staged. Then you have these individual throttle bodies, and then this right here is actually the fuel rail. So this is where the fuel goes through, and this is under very high pressure. And there's tiny little jets in here, and they're called injectors. And those injectors will then rocket a very fine mist of fuel through these holes. This will then open up those holes into the cylinder. That then gets compressed by the cylinder, and then you have the spark, or the ignition, which is then from this spark plug here. And on the spark plug there's ignition coils. I'll show these later. But for this, what you're doing is you have these little tiny, they call them the rocker arms, and the rocker arms sit on top of that little patch that I was talking about. So we have this little tool here. Show you. Ooh, let's not knock that over. That would be a very bad day. Organization. Here we go. Put that bad boy up here. So we have this right here, and these are what you call feeler gauges. Now, feeler gauges are little thin pieces of metal, and these thin pieces of metal have different thicknesses. So you can see right here, this one is 0.011, and then you have a 0.013, and the tolerance we can't have is this should not be able to go through the gap in between the cam lobe and the rocker arm, and 11 should. So 11 is pass, 13 is not pass. So if 13 goes through, we need to replace one of the little pucks with a bigger one. So here we go. 13. This is the one I believe I had yesterday. Yep, so I see how that's stuck and won't go through. Now we'll try 11, which is a pass. And 11 won't go through either. So we need something a little smaller so the 11 will go through. So we get this custom little BMW tool, and we have to move the rocker arm to the side here, so that gives you the ability to get your little puck. Now, you definitely do not want to drop one of these little pucks inside the engine. Basically, you have to rebuild the whole thing. So here you go. See the little puck there? So we're going to take that. That is currently a 232. We're going to swap out the 232 with the one I had to run out and get, a 228. And this should give us the right tolerance. So So take this very carefully without dropping. Slide that in there. Make sure it's flat. Then you have to move the rocker arm back over in between a little spacer in the cam lobe. So that's there. And then what we do is we take our feeler gauge. Let's check 11. Okay, 11 goes through. See it on the other side. That's good. And now 13, it should not go. So let's try this out. 13 here. 13. And there we go. Stops at 13. So we have now completed one of the valves. Now we got to check the back valve here. Because unfortunately there's 2 for each cylinder, so there's a total of 24. Fun times. So yeah, here we are, just repeating. So we take this guy. This is 13. Very carefully sticking this in here. And 13 goes all the way through. So that means we have too much of a gap.